bring your awareness to your breath. So noticing whether you're breathing quite shallow, whether all of your breath feels like it's right up in your neck and shoulders. And you try and slow your breath down and really focus on getting your rib cage to expand with every breath. So as you take a deep breath in, can you feel your rib cage expanding side to side and front to back? When we're laid in this position and you're focusing on taking deeper breaths, you might feel your belly rise and fall with the breath. And that's okay here, because we don't need our abdominals to be supporting us. We don't need them to be doing anything. They can be really relaxed here. So although I'm not kind of cueing you to breathe into your belly, don't worry if it is moving. I'm really more interested in getting your rib cage moving so that you're getting that expansion. But often people will say, I can feel my belly moving, and that's okay. Couple more breaths here. We're going to take it into our spine twist. So bring your feet and knees together. Take your arms out to the sides, palms facing up towards the ceiling, really anchoring your shoulder blades and the back of your ribs down onto the floor as you allow your knees to roll gently to one side. Only let them go as far as you can maintain that anchored shoulder and rib connection. Bring your legs back through center and over to the other side. So just move at your own speed. We want to keep the shoulders and the rib cage anchored so that we're getting a twist through the waist. Pelvis is gently rocking side to side. Not creating any tension or any strain, so it's just a nice, gentle movement. Watch for your ribs wanting to lift. Try and keep your ribs relaxed and down. And then as you come back through center this time, we're going to take our legs wide, so into windscreen wipers. So feet towards the outside edges of the mat, both knees roll to one side, just the same. And then over to the other side. Just getting a little bit more work into your hips now. Again, keeping your rib cage, shoulder blades anchored. Notice if you feel anywhere that your body is starting to grip, any tension that's starting to creep up in your body at any time, and just keep taking your deep breaths and trying to let that go. As you come back in through center this time, bring your knees into your chest. Give your knees a little hug and let's just rock gently side to side. One hand on the top of each knee, open the knees wide and circle around. Let's do about 5 in each direction. And this is really nice for getting into your hip joint. Good. When you've done 5 in each direction, you're just going to bring your feet back down onto the floor. And we're going to go into the cobbler. So soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. Releasing any tension through your inner thigh. Again, thinking about that mobility of your hip joint, opening out the hips. While we're here, relaxing, we're going to add some arm stretches too. So reaching your fingertips towards the ceiling, interlace your fingers and flip your hands over, pressing your palms to the ceiling. Really push your palms to the ceiling. Try and get that arch shape of your hands rather than that little bowl. Pull your thumbs as far away from the rest of your fingers as you can. And then start to take your arms overhead towards the floor behind you without the ribs lifting. So just go as far as you can maintain ribs down. Have a little stretch, have a little breath there. And then when you're ready, slowly bring your hands back to the ceiling. Bring your fingers apart, give your fingers a wriggle, big stretch. Circle your wrists around. And reverse, go the other way. And then gently pulling each finger in turn back. Just stretch out your fingers and your hands. When you've done them all, just give them a little wriggle again. And then just release your arms back down to the floor. Bring your knees back in. We're going to have feet and knees hip width apart. Bringing your arms down by your side. So we're going to do our little floor angels here. We want palms facing up towards the ceiling. Again, relax your shoulders down. And as you inhale, start to slide your hands along the floor up towards your head. Only take your arms as high as you can maintain that rib connection with the back of the mat. And then exhale and bring the arms back down. Now, if your movement is slower than the breath, just breathe however feels right to you. Feeling how it opens out your chest and shoulders. As your arms come down towards your hips this time, we're just going to refine this a little bit. So we're going to think about that external rotation. So, you know, when we hold our cup of water and we tip the arm out. So get your thumb down onto the floor. So you've kind of rolled your arms out so much that your thumbs are down on the floor. Your little fingers are pointing up towards the ceiling and your palms are facing away from the rest of your body. Let's have a little soft elbow and lift your elbow just off the floor. So thumb's touching the floor, but elbow isn't. And do the same thing here. And you keep your thumb down on the floor as you start to reach the arms along the floor up towards your head. How high can you get your arms without the ribs lifting? And then start to bring them back down. So keeping that little soft elbow and thumb down on the floor. And increases the stretch through your chest and shoulders. Keep your ribs down. Let's do a couple more here. Good job. As your arms come down by your sides this time, we're going to roll onto our side for the crocodile. So coming over onto your side. Now you can have something under your head if you feel that you need it, but we're going to have both arms reaching out in front and knees are bent. So we want to try and get our pelvis stacked, one hip bone on top of the other, just so that you're not kind of wonky and you've got one knee way in front of the other. So try and get your lower body stacked. Like I said, feel free to have a cushion under your head if you need it, but when you're ready, you're going to reach that top arm forwards. You're going to start to reach it up towards the ceiling. Keep your knees down on the floor. Start to open out through your chest and your shoulders, taking the arm behind you, and you can allow your rib cage to twist here too. Just go as far as feels okay for you. So head wants to be wherever's comfortable. It might want to follow your arm, it might not. Once you're in your maximum position, you're just going to hold and take a few breaths. So when I say maximum position, make sure you can still breathe and you can still speak. You don't want to be straining and taking your body beyond the boundaries that it's kind of got today. A couple more breaths here. We always hold it for longer the first time. So it's nice to move slowly to allow your body to kind of find the space, find where it needs to be. And then when you're ready, coming all the way back. We're going to do the same on the other side, but just take a moment when you're ready to roll onto your back. Maybe just give your knees a little hug if you need to, just a little rock side to side. And then you're going to turn yourself over and do the same on the other side. Again, we're going to do 3. Feel free to go in your own time. You might want to go slower or faster, whatever works for you, but really feeling that movement. Notice, pay attention to any signals that your body's sending you. Notice, is it the same on this side? Holding longer for the first one, just to allow your body to figure out what it is you're asking it to do, figure out where it needs to be, what it needs to let go of. So we're going to do 3. So just go at a pace that feels right for you. And noticing with each one, whether it feels like it's getting easier, whether you feel like you're releasing tightness, tension. So a nice little bit of rotation. When you've done your third one, you're just going to roll onto your back again. Just give your knees a little hug. And again, just gently rolling side to side. So a nice bit of rotation. We're going to go for some side bending now, some lateral flexion. So we're going to go into our crescent stretch. So lengthen your legs out long and take your arms overhead. Take a moment here to stretch from fingertips to toes, making yourself as long as you can. And then you're going to walk your legs to the right. Let's go to the right first. So to the right, to the right with your legs, and then walk your arms and upper body also to the right. So here you're in a side bend position. Stay here if that's enough for you, or you can cross your left ankle over your right. And if it feels good to your shoulders, you can grab your left wrist with your right hand. And again, just give that a little pull, just increasing that stretch. Now it's important here to notice whether your ribs now are starting to lift, whether you're starting to arch your back, and try and get your ribs down. You can use a cushion or a block or something under your head if you need to help those ribs come back down. And bringing your awareness back to your breath again here. So thinking about that rib cage movement, particularly on that side that's got all of the space now. So your left side is really free to move. And as you take a deep breath in, you'll probably feel a really big stretch on your left side. So kind of using your breath to give you even more stretch. Okay, let's release the arms first, just taking the load off. Uncross your legs, walk your legs back through center. We're going to do the same on the other side. So if you're ready, you're going to walk your legs to the left, to the left, to the left. Arms go up and overhead again, and then walk your arms and upper body also to the left. Remember again, you can stay here, or you can cross your right ankle over your left. And with your left hand, you can grab your right wrist. Just giving yourself that little bit extra. Now, if it bothers your shoulders, you can take your arms out of this. You don't have to do arms and legs. You can just do legs, or you can just do arms. Taking those deep breaths again. Focusing on that expansion of the ribcage, particularly on the right side this time. So again, more space to move, give you more stretch. I think of these kind of movements as giving your body the kind of the movement nutrients that it needs to sustain it through the day. When you're ready, release your legs, walk them back in through center, release your arms. Moving slowly, you're going to bend your knees and then bring one knee at a time into your chest. Give your knees a little hug and just rock gently side to side. Going to add some leg stretches on there. So keep hold of your right leg and let your left foot come back down onto the floor. You're going to pull that right leg as close into you as you can without letting your bottom lift away from the floor. So getting a real deep hip bend, real deep knee bend too. And then straighten that right leg up towards the ceiling. Keep hold of it and let's point and flex our foot here. And then let's do our little foot circles. Let's do 5 in each direction, circling your foot around. Paying attention to the movement, how it feels. When you've done 5 one way, reverse and go the other way. Good. And then pull your knee back into your chest. Going to pull the other knee in as well. So left knee is going to come in. Take both hands onto your left leg this time and straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling. We're going to slowly, slowly lower that right leg down towards the floor. It's going to hover at about hip height, so kind of level to your hip bone. Holding there, opening out the front of the hip. Let's do our little waggle. So just taking that leg side to side, trying to free off any gripping through the front of your hip. And then as you come back into center, allow that leg to come all the way down to the floor this time. Keep pulling your left knee in towards you, reaching that right leg away and opening out through the right hip. A couple of breaths here. Good job. Okay, so right leg can stay out long if you want, or you can bend your knee again. We're going to do the leg stretches on the left side this time. So taking your left leg up towards the ceiling. Again, keeping your pelvis anchored, getting that leg as straight as you can. You're going to point and flex your foot here. And we're going to do our little ankle or foot circles here. Again, about 5 in each direction. Notice how it feels, how it's moving this morning. When you've done 5 one way, you're going to reverse and do the same the other way. And then when you've done 5 in each direction, you're just going to pull that knee back into your chest again, big stretch. Bring the right knee in as well. Hold on to your right knee. Left leg goes to the ceiling. Slowly lowering that left leg down, again, just until it's level with your hip bones. And we're going to do our little waggle here, little side to side. Again, just trying to free off any tightness. As you come back in through center, allow that leg to go all the way down to the floor. Keep pulling the right knee and left leg reaches away, opening out through your front of your hip. And then release your right leg as well. Let's have both legs out long. And again, take your arms overhead to stretch from fingertips to toes. Make yourself as long as you can. Just take a couple of breaths. And then just release your arms. We're going to go into strap stretch from here. So grab your strap and pop it around your foot. So base of your toes, kind of ball of your foot, so that you've got more ability to steer your foot. Okay, and then free leg is out long. And we're going to press out through both heels. Excuse me. So both heels are pressing away, front of the foot pulling towards you, both feet. And the leg that's in the strap is super straight and super heavy. So your arms are what's holding it in place. Take a couple of deep breaths. While you're doing that, just notice if you're gripping anywhere. So check that you aren't frowning, no little frown lines. Check the muscles of your face. Is your face nice and soft? Is your jaw relaxed? Let your teeth come apart if you're clenching them together. Let your neck and shoulders relax. I know that obviously you're having to use your arms to hold your leg here, but you can let your arms just hang and let the weight of your arms hold your leg. You can rest your elbows down on the mat if your strap is long enough, or you can wrap the strap around your hands a couple of times and just let them hang. Notice if your rib cage is lifting here. Are you arching your back? Can you let them be heavy and relaxed? Just taking some deep breaths. Let's bring that leg across your body now. If it feels okay for you, bring it across. And then just feel the front of that thigh and notice whether you're gripping and you've got a lot of tension, whether you're trying to hold this leg up with the muscles of your thigh rather than the strap. See if you can let that go. Soft-ish and relaxed-ish. Maybe just give it a little poke, give it a little rub. And then bringing your leg back in through center, let's turn it out from the hip joint and take it out to the side. Remember, we're just trying to take the leg, not the whole pelvis. So pelvis stays still. Both hip bones are still pointing up towards the ceiling. Again, take a couple of breaths here. When you're ready, bring that leg back up towards the ceiling. We're going to go into our happy baby here. So you can keep your free leg out long, or you can bend it if you prefer. Leg in the strap, you're going to pull down towards you. Trying to get your shin as vertical as you can, sole of the foot reaching towards the ceiling. Remember, you can take that knee out to the side a little bit, take the foot with it, but if you find that it's pressing on your chest and you can't breathe, take it out to the side. So either hold your strap or hold the outside edge of your foot if you can reach. And then again, let's do your little tension check. Are you clenching your teeth now? Can you try and let your jaw relax? Neck and shoulders as relaxed as possible here. Take some deep breaths. Notice what the breath is doing to your body while you're here. Can you find more softness anywhere in your body? Maybe it feels nice for you to give that hamstring a little bit of a rub while you've got your leg here. Maybe squeeze and release it, or just rub, whatever feels good to you. All right, and then we're going to straighten that leg back out again and switch and pop the strap on the other side. So again, free leg out long. You're going to press out through both heels, pull the front of the foot towards you on both sides. Being as relaxed as you can. So let your arms just kind of hang and hold your leg there. Check in again for jaw tension, for frown lines. Your shoulders up around your ears. Just scan, check. You know where you hold tension. Check your hot spots. And if it feels okay, bring your leg across your body. If it doesn't feel good to you this morning, just keep it in center. It's okay. Maybe check that thigh again. Are you gripping? Are you holding through the front of your thigh? Can you let that go? Bring your leg back in through center, slightly turn it out. Take it out to the side again. It's just the leg going. Don't take your pelvis and your whole body with it. Couple of breaths there. And then when you're ready, bring your leg back in through center. Let's do that little half happy baby on this side. So again, free leg can stay long, or you can bend it. Bending that leg that's in the strap, bringing the knee down towards you. Trying to get that vertical shin, sole of the foot towards the ceiling. And then either holding your strap or the outside edge of your foot, both of those is fine. Remember, if you need to take your knee out to the side to give you more space, that's fine. We'll make sure you're taking the foot with it. So you want your foot to stay above your knee, your ankle to be directly above your knee. Once you're there again, check your jaw. Check your teeth, neck and shoulders. Maybe again, giving your hamstring a little bit of attention. Maybe give it a little squeeze and release. Maybe just give it a little rub. Couple more breaths here again, just noticing how your body changes when you slow your breath down and you purposely try and soften and relax. All right, we're going to let that leg go. You can get rid of your strap. Let's go back into cobbler, soles of the feet together, knees out to the side. Just hold here. Couple breaths. From here, we're going to go into our number 4 stretch. So bringing your knees back up towards the ceiling, we're going to be feet and knees hip width apart. Take a moment to make sure that your hip bones are level so your pelvis isn't wonky before we start. And then trying to keep your pelvis still where it is, you're going to bring one leg up and cross your ankle over your other knee. So you're trying to keep length through both sides of your waist and you've not allowed one side to hitch up. Hold here. That knee that's come up, can you think about sending that knee as far away from you as you can? Notice if it's wanting to point towards your nose, and you send it out to the side. Take a couple of breaths here. And then either staying here or floating up that supporting leg. Now you can hold behind that leg, or you can just use the muscles of your legs to hold you here. It's up to you. And both of those are absolutely fine. I kind of like to play around with both. The closer you pull your legs in towards you, the deeper stretch you're going to feel. But what I want you to notice is your pelvis lifting away from the mat. So can you try and keep your tailbone anchored, your pelvis in that neutral position, but then pulling your legs in towards you so that you're not bringing the pelvis with. So just kind of playing around with that, maybe gently rocking your legs away from you and towards you a couple of times might feel quite nice. Again, you can use your hands to support if you want to, but seeing if you can get that movement of just the legs and not the whole pelvis having to shift. And it's quite subtle, so don't worry too much if you're not sure. As long as it kind of feels good and you're getting that little bit of a stretch, it's all good. Shall we do the other side? You can release your supporting leg down. Release your leg. Again, take a moment to make sure that your pelvis is level. You haven't hitched up one side. And then cross your opposite ankle over your knee this time. Take a moment to check in and notice where the knee is. Is it pointing towards your nose? And you take it out to the side a little bit more and keep length through both sides of your waist. Just take a couple of breaths here first. Again, it's about letting your body kind of adapt and adjust to where it is, to be happy where it is so that you're not forcing movements on it before it's ready for it, before it kind of knows what's going on. And then we're going to bring that leg up if you want to. And again, you can either hold behind your knee or just hold the legs there. Notice, how's it feeling? How close can you bring your legs in towards you without your pelvis tipping? Maybe again, just in that little tiny rocking forwards and backwards. It doesn't have to be a big movement. And you don't have to move at all. You can keep perfectly still if you want to. You're just exploring what kind of feels good. Or what feels like it's doing something. Good. All right, when you're ready, release your leg back down. Go back to cobbler, uncross your legs and bring your soles of your feet together, let your knees go out to the side. Couple of breaths. When you're ready, we're going to roll ourselves over onto our back. We're going to do a little bit of back extension. So when you're ready, roll onto your front. And we're going to have our hands on the mat, one hand on top of the other. And you can rest your forehead down onto your hands. Legs can be squeezing together if that feels okay for you, or hip width apart. Either of those is fine. But pubic bone is anchored, tailbone slightly tucked to give length in your lower back. That's trying to bring your pelvis into a neutral position here. And then notice, are your shoulders straight up and around your ears? Can you think about drawing your armpits down towards your waist to give space for your neck? So you kind of, I don't like to say pull your shoulders away from your ears, but if you think about moving the shoulder blades down your back to give more space, to get those shoulder blades anchored where they should be. And then can you maintain that? We're going to take a breath in, press your hands into the floor and lift your head and your neck and your chest just away from the floor. Exhale and lower back down. So I don't want you holding your breath here. So inhale, pressing your hands into the floor, lifting your head, your neck and your chest away from the floor. And then exhale to come back down. We're just going to do one more with hands in this position. And then lowering back down. So I find often with hands in this position that it encourages your shoulders to be up around your ears. So we're going to bring our hands out to the sides a little bit now. So have your hands just in front of your shoulders and elbows are kind of tucked in by your sides. So I find that that's easier then for most people to think about drawing those shoulder blades down their back a little bit. We're going to do the same thing here. So as you inhale, you're going to press your hands into the mat and you're going to lift your head, your neck and your chest away from the floor. And then exhale as you come back down. Keeping your pubic bone anchored. Just keep going with the speed of your breath. And it's not about how high you come. It's about finding the right muscles to you. So I don't want you to be feeling all of this in your lower back, which is why we try and get our pelvis in that neutral position of keeping the pubic bone anchored. I want you to feel this more around your upper back and shoulders. The other thing to check here, if you're feeling it in your lower back, is what are you doing with your ribs? So as you're trying to lift away from the floor, are you pushing your ribs into the floor? Can you, before you start to lift, think about pulling your ribs into your body, keeping the ribs off the floor, and then coming up. Just have a little play there. Let's just do a couple more here. And as you lower down this time, find your rest position. So push yourself up and back. Take your bottom back towards your heels, reach your arms forwards and just take a moment to stretch out your back now. We're going to go back onto our front again for hip extension. So we're going to work the legs this time. So come on down. Bring your hands back into that first position, one hand on top of the other, and rest your forehead on your hands. Again, legs can be squeezing together or hip width apart, whichever feels more comfortable for you. I kind of like hip width apart. I feel like it allows more space for my tailbone to kind of drop down. So have a play with leg positions for yourself. And then again, we still want pubic bone anchored, tailbone slightly tucked. And you're going to reach one leg away from you. Make that leg as long as you can and allow it to lift away from the floor and lower it down. You know this movement. Same on the other side. Reach the leg long, allow it to lift away from the floor and lower it down. Keep switching sides. Trying to keep your lower back as relaxed as possible here. Don't worry about how high you lift your leg. Focus on using the muscles of your glutes and your hamstrings. So your bottom and the back of your thigh are what's doing the work here of lifting the leg. Keep reaching. Notice if, as you take your leg behind you, whether your pelvis is trying to twist as well. You try and keep your pelvis anchored. And we don't have a big range of movement here. I think kind of maximum hip extension is about 30 degrees. So you're never going to get your leg like pointing up towards the ceiling. You'll be very pleased to hear. But it's not a big range of movement. And that's kind of maximum. That's not even average. So as long as you're feeling this in your bottom and not your back, then you're doing it right. And we're happy with that. All right, as you lower your leg this time, let's push up and back into our rest position again, just to give your back a little stretch. It's because lying on your front sometimes isn't the most comfortable position. So that's why I like to bring you in and out of it. When you feel happy, you're going to go back down onto your front again. And we're going to do our inner thigh stretch. So you're going to bring one knee out to the side, have it resting down on the floor. And then notice when you brought that knee out, have you hitched that hip up higher? So are your hip bones now wonky? Can you try and get your hip bones level? And in bringing that leg out to the side, has your hip bone on that side had to lift really far away from the floor? Just notice if that's the case. And can you think about sending your knee out to the side even more to give more space for your hip bone to drop back down into the floor? So it's about finding release, finding space, and again, not forcing anything. You can let the rest of your body be as relaxed as possible. Notice if you're holding tension and gripping anywhere. Maybe checking your jaw again, checking the frown lines between your eyebrows. Are you clenching your fists or scrunching up your toes here? Are you clenching your glutes here? You could be holding anywhere. So it's always good to kind of scan through your body and check the places that you know that you do tend to hold. Let's straighten that leg out now. So instead of it being bent out to the side, it's now straight. But same thing, notice whether you've had to lift your hip bone way up off the floor. Think about sending that leg away from you to allow it to come back down. It needs the space to be able to come down. Can you take deep breaths? Have you had to hitch your hip up higher? And think about trying to keep that level pelvis. Think about all of the cells in your body that are getting squished and moved and given space and pushed around, and all the good it's doing inside your hip joints, inside your ankle joints, in your feet, in your knees, in your pelvis, everywhere. All of these movements are giving your body what it needs. So although you feel like you're not doing very much, you're actually doing amazing things for your body. We're going to do the same on the other side. So when you feel ready, just bend that knee to bring your leg back in. If you do need to push yourself up and back into rest pose before you do the other side, feel free, because you know what you're doing on the other side. And when you're ready, you can just go straight into it. You're bringing your other knee out to the side this time. And once you're there, you'll notice, and again, have you hitched that hip up higher? Can you find that level pelvis? Has the hip lifted away from the floor? Can you find space to relax it back down? Just paying attention to how it feels one side of your body to the other. Is there a lot of tension and tightness in that hip joint, stopping you from relaxing it down? Can you take some deep breaths and try and find more softness there? How about your jaw and your face here? Is there anywhere else that you can soften? Can you slow your breath down? Let's straighten that leg out to the side now. And try not to hitch your hip up. Trying to keep your pelvis relaxed and down. Taking those deep breaths. Notice that leg that's out to the side. Are you holding that leg? Are you kind of Trying to lift it away from the floor. Can you allow it to soften and think about it being heavy and sinking down into the floor? When you feel ready, you're just going to bend that knee to bring your leg back in. And then you're going to go back into your rest position, into your child's pose, taking your bottom back towards your heels and reaching your arms forwards, and just take a few breaths here. Staying in the child's pose, can you take your knees wide? So feet are going to stay close together, but knees are going to go wider. And then again, bring yourself back down into that child's pose. And you can feel again how it just changes the stretch. It gets a little bit deeper into your hips. We're going to come up onto all fours now. So when you're ready, come up onto all fours. Always want the same setup, fingers wide, thumbs towards each other, elbow pits forwards, knees under hips. Okay, and then we're going to have the tops of the feet down flat on the floor. And we're just going to take our bottom back towards our heels as far as you can go without letting your bum tuck under, and then come forwards again. So we're just going to rock gently forwards and backwards a few times here. Trying to keep that neutral spine. So trying to have no change in your back as you take your bottom back towards your heels. So if you imagine I was going to come and balance a little tea tray on your lower back, your shape isn't going to shift. It's not going to change. So you're not going to drop it. Got that little dip at your lower back. Okay, we're going to do that again, but we're going to tuck our toes under this time. So as you come forwards, we're going to tuck the toes under, but don't just like tuck them under. Let's really tuck them under. So I want you to lift one knee, put your toes down on the mat, and then push your foot back and bring your knee down. So you're getting a real good stretch of the feet as well. Other side, lift the knee up, put the toes down and push your foot back so you're getting a real good stretch. Okay, same thing. You're going to take your bottom back towards your heels and then come forwards again. Notice if your feet are trying to roll out to the sides. Are your ankles trying to roll out to the sides? Can you try and keep them in that center position? Good. How about if we take our knees wide here? So just keep your feet where they are, but walk your knees out. Can you sit your bottom back here? It's like a little frog squat. Good. Couple more. Good job. All right, we're going to bring our knees back in. So you're back in that feet and knees kind of hip width apart position. And then untuck your toes and sit your bottom back into child's pose. So we're in child's pose, but we've got our feet and knees hip width apart. And then have a look at your hands. Take your hands just a little bit wider. So we're going to do that little, like little baby cobra thing where we come forwards. So from child's pose, you're going to come up onto your hands and knees, and you're going to keep moving your upper body forwards to allow your hips to come down towards the floor. And then you're going to take your bottom back towards your heels. Let's use our breath to do this. So we're going to inhale as we come up and forwards, allowing your hips to come down towards the floor. And we're going to exhale as we go back into our child's pose. Move at your own pace. And even though we're allowing our hips to come down towards the floor, we're not collapsing, we're not allowing them to drop. Everything is controlled. You're using your abdominals to support you. Pay attention to what's happening with your shoulders. Are your shoulder blades collapsing in towards your spine? Can you keep your shoulder blades nice and stable on your back so they stay in that slightly wider position? Let's do 2 more. Last one. Good job. And as you come back this time, we're going to come up to kneeling. We're going to do a little lunge on each side. We're not going to do very many, but we're going to step one leg forwards. Take a moment to get your hip bones level. Bring your pubic bone through so that your pelvis is in that neutral position, hip bones, pubic bone level. And then just taking your whole pelvis slightly forwards and slightly back so that you're opening out again and getting a good stretch through the front of this hip. Just a small movement forwards and back. Should feel really kind of nice, she says. Just a couple more. And then we're just going to switch legs and just do the same on the other side. So again, taking a moment to make sure you're happy with your setup, your hip bones are level, slight tuck of the tailbone to bring your pelvis neutral, and then taking it slightly forwards and slightly back. So we want to maintain that pelvis in that same position. So it's going forwards and backwards without tilting. Again, might feel like quite a big stretch on the front of that back leg and through your hip. All right. Good job. Okay, and then we're going to come to seated now. So if you need a cushion or a block or something to sit on to be comfortable, then grab something. Whenever you're seated, you're always trying to find a neutral pelvis, okay? So you're never wanting to be sitting on your tailbone. You're always trying to find your sit bone. So if you think about your pelvis, how it can kind of roll forwards and backwards, it's always trying to be as upright as possible. Now, often you can get your pelvis in that upright position, but then you might lose the ribs. To get there, you might have to lift the ribs, in which case you want something to help to give you more space so that the ribs can stay down and the pelvis can be upright. And that's the best position for you. So always kind of have a play around and be really aware of what's happening in your body. Okay, we're going to do some shoulder and some neck stuff now. So finding comfortable position. Arms are just relaxed down, shoulders relaxed down away from your ears. And you're just going to tip your head to one side, bringing your ear down to your shoulder even. And just take a couple of breaths. Just hold there and just notice how it feels in your body. And then bring your head up and over to the other side. How is it on this side? Is it different? You might find a big difference. I have a big difference one side to the other. Bring your head back up through center. Now this time I want you to think about ramping your head. So we're trying to keep length through the back of the neck. So think about how forwards your chin is of your shoulders. Can you pull your chin back so that you've got length through the back of the neck, no creases on the back of the neck, ears are over shoulders, and then do it again here. So drop your ear down towards your shoulder, and it might just change the stretch. So making sure again that you're not poking your head forwards, chin's pulled back. And then do the same on the other side, making sure that that chin's pulled in, and take your head over to the other side. Good. Back in through center, go back over to your first side again, keeping your chin in. Take it over. We're going to add the shoulder lift this time. So opposite shoulder is going to lift towards your ear and then pull down. Shoulder lifts and then pulls down, just giving you that little bit extra stretch. When you've done 3, bring your head up and over to the other side and do the same on the other side. And then bring your head back in. And through center when you've done 3. Shoulder rolls next. Just allow your shoulders to roll around. Feel how it feels. Feel whether one's moving more than the other. Is one kind of being a bit lazy this morning? Does one feel clicky? Can you reverse that and go the other way? And then we're going to reach our arms forwards and we're going to do those stop hands. Can you turn your hands down so palms are facing towards you and then towards me? And down and up. And then move in at the same speed. Does it feel the same on both sides? Can you spread your fingers and do it? Good. All right, as you do palms up this time, we're going to take them out to the side, a little soft elbow, and push your hands away from you. So we're still keeping that soft elbow, so you're not like just locked out. So soft elbow, but push your hands away. Spread your fingers again if you weren't doing. And you pull your fingers back towards you as you press your palms away. So this is like a little nerve stretch. It feels a bit weird, but it's so good. So good. I'm going to stretch the nose too. Check in, make sure that your ribs aren't lifted. Hold here. A couple of breaths. And then just let that go. Just give your shoulders a little circle. Just turn your head gently side to side. Maybe just change up your seating position a little bit, as feels okay for you. We'll take our arms out to the side again. We're going to find that stop position again here. And then we're going to do palms down, palms up. Like a little, I don't know, it makes me feel like a bird of prey here. Now notice with your fingers, are they wanting to close up? Can you try and keep them wide? I keep wanting to close up. Notice if yours do too. And then as you press your hands away this time, we're going to bring the hands together in front. So bring the hands together and then open out to the sides again. And again, bring them in and take them out. 2 more. Last one. We're going to drop the hands down this time. So as they come together, let's drop them down and open out here. So we want to make sure that we're moving our shoulders, our arms around in all different positions. And we're not just always exercising or moving in the same position. As your hands come together this time, we're going to take the hands up this time. So let's go up and do the same thing here. A lot more work when your arms are up as opposed to down, obviously with gravity. But making sure again that you're not lifting your rib cage up. What's happening with your head? Is your head starting to poke forwards? Keep your chin back. Last one. And then just lowering your hands down again. Let's just do some little shoulder circles. Just trying to release off any tension and any tightness there. We're going to do chin to chest this time. So drop your chin down towards your chest, looking down towards the floor. Let your shoulders relax down away from your ears here as well. Just take a couple of breaths, allowing the back of your neck to lengthen, to release tension, to release that tightness. We tend to have a lot of shortness in the neck. And this is a really good way of releasing your neck. A couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, you're going to start to slowly bring your head back up. Try and keep that length through the back of the neck. So again, think about bringing your chin back. And then gently turn your head side to side, still keeping your chin back, keeping length through back of neck. Shoulders are down. And you guys are done.